The 2012 NEA ESP of the Year has provided me many opportunities, which include invitations to be the keynote speaker in many states. But today is a very special day for me. Being asked to speak here at the Colorado ESP Conference has a very special meaning for me. You see, I went to my first NEA ESP Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, 11 years ago as a real rookie. And I came home with a dream that one day Colorado would have our own ESP Conference. That dream has become reality as a result of the persistence and hard work of many people. This is also a special day for me because I am here with you, my Colorado colleagues, and people that have a very special place in my heart. I did not become the 2012 NEA ESP of the Year alone. There are many people who helped me achieve this honor, and many of them should be standing up here with me today. During my speech at the NEA Representative Assembly, I had to cut out most of the people I wanted to thank because my speech was too long. Go figure. So I would like to acknowledge those people today, and the list is long. At the head of this list is my friend and colleague, Dave Mussetter. I want to personally and publicly thank Dave for his commitment and dedication and continued unwavering support of me and the Colorado ESP, all of you. Dave seems to get a little older every time he is among us. That's kind of a private joke. If you want to know, I'll tell you later. Also on that list is CEA Membership Director Kathy McMahon Burgess, the CEA ESP Advisory Council, Jim Patasich, Karen Jones, Dave Ankley, Jason Holland, Jana Lewis, and Terry Hoyt. CEA President Carrie Dahlman, and the CEA leadership team, CEA Vice President Amy Babka-Olert, CEA Secretary Treasurer Jeff Marshall, NEA directors and my partners in crime in DC, Lawrence Garcia and Greg Brody. The best executive director ever, Mr. Tony Salazar. And there's an incredible writer named Amy Byer who wrote my application for the NEA ESP of the Year. I'd like to thank her. Callie Benjamin is not here today, but she works with Dave. She is really the one behind putting all of this together and did an awful lot of work for us today. The CEA staff, past President Beverly Engel, past Vice President Colleen Hines, past NEA Directors Brenna Isaacs, and Barb Clementi, who is here today. Thank you, Barb. The Pikes Peak Education Association, and my local CCSPA, where my journey began and where my journey will end. Can you guys stand for me, please? I told them they all had to give a speech today. I want you all to know that I haven't forgotten where I came from, where my journey began. And I want to thank you for always standing beside me. I love you guys. Okay, so now that's kind of sounded like the Academy Awards without the music to make it stop. But I really needed to thank all of those people. So here we are in the CEA building, my home away from home, and a place of great pride for me. There's really no place I would rather be than here with you, my Colorado ESP friends, colleagues, and family, sharing our experiences and our stories and learning from each other. For those of you who don't know me, I am a health tech in Canon City, Colorado, a small rural community about 45 minutes southwest of Colorado Springs. I've worked in the health office at Skyline Elementary, now known as Canyon Exploratory School, for 22 years. I love my job as a health tech. Working with elementary children has brought such joy to my life. That part of my life began in 1991. I was an employee who did my job and did it well. I always sat in the back of the room during meetings with classes, too shy to ever ask a question. for fear it might be a stupid one. Never wanting to draw attention to myself. You might say I was really very shy. I know my Canon City friends are probably laughing at that right now. But then my life changed. I changed when I and three of my courageous colleagues stepped up to organize my local in an anti-union environment, anti-ESP union environment. Yes, shy, never draw attention to myself, me, organizing. While this story is much, much longer, and I could talk to you all day about that experience, the part I want to share with you is this. The first time I spoke in front of our school board, asking for recognition for our ESP colleagues, I was vulnerable and scared, standing by administrators who hated what we were doing. I shook so badly that I could barely read from my paper. Some Canon City colleagues may remember that night. It was then that I vowed no one would ever make me that scared again. There are two things I will always remember most about that organizing experience. The first is the strength we drew from the employees, both teachers and ESP, who packed the boardroom that night, each of them standing in solidarity with us, sharing a moment in time with us that I will never forget. Something changed in me that night, and it defined my journey for the next 12 years. The second is that every time I spoke in front of our school board, I was never offered a chair to sit. I always said what I needed to say, standing, by the way, by those administrators who hated what we were doing. Until after many months and much work, our school board took a unanimous vote to make us the sole representatives of our district. Thus, the Canon City Education Support Professionals Association was born. Together, we did it, relying on each other through a very difficult time. Not long after our ratification vote, I was elected president, and the next time I spoke in front of our school board, one of the administrators stood up and offered me his chair, a seat at the table. I was so taken back that I almost forgot what I came there to speak about in the first place. I remember thinking, well, this is what it feels like to be respected and valued, to be included as part of the team. I'm sure that administrator had no idea what effect that one action had on me. He probably doesn't even remember that event. I remember. I still remember. Our teachers had been organized and recognized for 30 plus years. It only makes sense to us that we too should have a voice at the table and be a valued part of the team and a partner that plays a critical role in the education of our children. The attitude that ESPs are a dime a dozen, or that there are 100 people waiting in line to take our jobs, gave us the courage and drive to organize our local. We were successful and continue today to be the sole representatives of our education support professionals. We have a master contract, a legal binding document which includes due process and gives us a seat at the table and a voice in the decisions that affect our jobs. We all of us, should expect nothing less. We've come a long way. Our association is well respected. We pride ourselves on the collaboration and relationships we have with our school board, our administrators, and our teacher colleagues. So what did I learn from my organizing experiences? I learned that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That success moves one step at a time, and those steps don't necessarily move very fast. I learned that you don't need a title to lead. Leading with vision, hope, and inner strength, and believing you can change things is more than enough. I learned that the wishbone can never replace the backbone. So now, I have a question for you. How many of you have said when asked what you do, I am just a... I used to say that too. I used to say I'm just a health tech. I'm here today to say to you, you are not just a... You are a valuable contributing piece of the academic and personal success of every child we work with, regardless of your job classification. You all, every single one of you, have a story, and that story matters, and it is powerful. Think about it. Think about the students you work with. Think about what you teach them every day. Think about what you mean to them and what they mean to you. Think about how their parents depend on you. Our stories can range from teaching a child to read and to love to read, or to knowing that you are the key to a nutritious meal or meal for your students on a daily basis, and that the meals you feed them and the education you do around eating healthy may be the only meal some students get that day. Your story might be the custodian that gives a student a job in the lunchroom or in the building, that teaches them responsibility and builds their self-esteem. Or maybe you're the mentor to a student, and the ear that listens to their needs and the one that keeps them in school. My superintendent told this story at our ESP recognition dinner in December, titled "A Bus Driver." Stephen drove a bus while in seminary. He really cared about the kids who rode on his bus. One awful day, a 12-year-old student, Pete, was devastated when he learned his dad had been killed by a drunk driver. Pete's tears revealed his shattered heart. Stephen, realizing the terrible pain the boy was experiencing, took time that day to listen and to comfort. Stephen eventually graduated and moved hundreds of miles away. 16 years later, Pete was able to track Stephen down. He wrote his former bus driver a letter. He had married one of the girls on his bus, but that was really not what he wanted to say. What he really wanted to say was thanks for making such a big difference in his life. Stephen was there for him on that heartbreaking day. Pete's letter said, "Most people think a school bus driver would never make such an impact. He did. A bus driver's compassion deeply touched a grieving child. Taking time to listen and care often produces similar results. It's less about our title and more about what we do." There are other stories of courage that ESPs bring to life every day. Sometimes it places their own lives on the line. And I'm seriously going to try to get through this without the Kleenex box. Some take my breath away, such as the custodian in Newtown, Connecticut, who risked his life running through Sandy Hook Elementary on that terrible day in December, warning everyone of the attacker's presence. And the secretary who hid under her desk with her cell phone, talking to 911, telling them and informing them of where the shooter was in the building. I must also mention the extraordinary actions taken by the teacher colleagues that day, educators who lost their lives to protect their students. They are heroes. In Jefferson County, Colorado, where a custodian, a bus driver, and 2 electricians risked their lives when Mayor Arthur's rifle shot 2 students. These ESPs acted with courage in different ways to save the students in their school. They are heroes. And then there's Chuck Pope, an Indian member and bus driver from Alabama. On February 2nd, 2013, Charles Pope died on his bus protecting his students from a man who stormed his bus. Chuck stood between the students and the gunman, giving the students time in the back of the bus to open the door and flee. The gunman shot Chuck and took the 5-year-old and held him hostage. Thank God, the boy was safe after being held hostage for several days. Chuck Pope is a hero. These are just a few stories of hundreds that show how ESPs go above and beyond their daily duties, displaying a tremendous amount of courage. That's raw courage, and it lies in the hearts of ESPs across the country who would sacrifice their lives for their students. ESPs work to protect their students and their communities. Education support professionals are experienced and committed, educated and well-trained. And we care deeply for the students and their academic success, and we work to keep our students and schools safe. No matter where I go, from Florida to Michigan, Washington, D.C., and Las Cruces, New Mexico, ESPs have the same issues. Outsourcing, the lack of bargaining rights, the need to be acknowledged as an equal partner in the education of our students, low wages, and the big issue, a lack of respect. I challenge each of you to tell your story. Tell it loud and tell it proud. Tell it often and tell it to everyone who will listen, and tell it to those who won't. Just keep telling it, and tell it with pride every time. And remember, our job, our work is more than a job, it is a career. Just as the health and wellness of my staff and students are responsibilities I take very seriously, so are the health and wellness of the NEA, CEA, my ESP and teacher colleagues across this nation. The challenges we face will require all of us to have the courage to stand strong and speak loud and hold on tight to the core values that guide us daily. As education support professionals, we also have the responsibility to be aware of and active in the political arena, and to work diligently to protect our union values, our profession, our students, and to stand up for each other. Finally, I will be retiring at the end of this year, and I want to take advantage of this opportunity to say thank you for all you do, for being so committed to your students and the association. I want to thank you for making me a better person, for giving me a soft place to land, and for being the wind beneath my wings. I'd like to honor you today with a song, and I'd like you to always be strong when you are weak, brave when you are scared, humble when you are victorious, and remember your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, become more. You are a leader. Be proud. You are an ESP. Thank you.